Trillions of microbes ready to invade our bodies lurk in the air, the water, the foods we eat, and on the objects we touch. Nevertheless, most of us are healthy most of the time and unaware of the constant battle between body and microbe. Even when infections occur, we almost always fend them off quickly. Our usual state of good health is due to three lines of defense: external barriers that keep microbes out of the body, non-specific internal defenses that combat all invading microbes, and our immune system, which assaults specific microbes. Monocytes and neutrophils are phagocytic white blood cells that travel through capillaries to wounds where bacteria have gained entry, then ooze out through narrow openings in the capillary walls. After leaving the capillaries, monocytes differentiate into macrophages, amoeba-like cells that engulf and ingest bacteria and other foreign particles. Neutrophils, the most numerous of white blood cells, like macrophages, also engulf foreign invaders such as bacteria and certain fungi. Both monocytes and neutrophils secrete molecules that attract other defensive cells to the invasion site. Natural killer cells are another class of white blood cells. They do not directly attack and engulf invading microbes, but rather identify and destroy body cells that have been invaded by viruses or that have become cancerous. Sensing molecular changes, natural killer cells bind to the compromised cell's cellular membrane and release proteins that pierce holes in it. Cytotoxic proteins then ensure the destruction of the abnormal cell by entering it and destroying its nucleus. If enough microbes survive the inflammatory response and infect larger areas of the body, a fever may be triggered. While severe fevers are dangerous, even fatal, average fevers of 38 or 39 degrees Celsius, 100 to 102 degrees Fahrenheit, are beneficial. In the brain, the hypothalamus contains temperature-sensing nerve cells that normally set the body's thermostat at about 37 degrees Celsius or 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. However, certain white blood cells, in response to infection, release hormones called endogenous pyrogens that cause the hypothalamus to trigger behaviors that increase body temperature, shivering, increased fat metabolism, and a feeling of cold that causes a search for heat and warmth. The release of pyrogens also results in reduced iron concentrations in the blood, which, combined with the fever, slows the reproduction rate of many bacteria. Further, fever increases the activity of the phagocytic white blood cells that attack bacteria. Fever fights viral infections by increasing the production of the protein interferon, which is synthesized by certain body cells when they are invaded by viruses. Interferon released by these cells travels to other cells and increases their resistance to the viral attack. While often effective, these non-specific defenses are not impregnable. When they fail to do the job, the body then mounts a highly specific immune response directed against the particular organism that has successfully invaded the body. More than 2,000 years ago, the Greek historian Thucydides recognized that occasionally someone contracts a disease, recovers, and never catches that particular disease again. The person becomes immune. With rare exceptions, however, immunity to one disease confers no protection against other diseases. Thus, the immune system attacks one type of microbe, overcomes it, and provides future protection against that microbe, but no others. This is why we refer to the immune response as a specific defense against invasion. The immune system consists of about 2 trillion specialized white blood cells called lymphocytes. Many are distributed throughout the body in the blood and lymph. Others are clustered in specific organs, particularly the thymus, lymph nodes, and spleen. The immune response results from the interactions among several types of lymphocytes and the molecules they produce. The immune response is provided chiefly by 2 types of lymphocytes, B cells and T cells. As with all white blood cells, B and T lymphocytes arise from cells in the bone marrow. Early in development, newly forming T cells migrate to the thymus, hence the name T cell, and differentiate. B cells differentiate in the bone marrow itself, hence the name B cell, and later migrate typically either to the spleen or lymph nodes. Immune responses produced by both B and T cells consist of 3 steps: recognizing invaders, launching an attack, and retaining a memory of the invader to ward off future infections.